Alright, so I got this machine yesterday from a guy, and what he had said is that the starter rope is broken. Sorry, I need a sip of water. Not that the starter rope's broken, but the rewind itself is broken. So, I've been having a hard time replicating what he's saying. The problem is, it seems to me like it just has a loose bolt on this side. So let me just try tightening up these 3 bolts and see what happens. I don't see an issue, but because I like to check things out, let's go ahead and take this off. Crap, I need a 1/4" socket. That shouldn't be a problem. Give me 1 second. And my handles here. So there's a couple of issues that, I mean, there's something that could be wrong with this. And if it is, I actually have another house and we can just swap the rope over since I don't have any spare starter rope at the moment. And we'll go ahead and turn that around so that it doesn't get dirt in it. Okay, so it actually is broken. There are supposed to be 2 teeth that come out of here. Let me double check. Yeah, there's supposed to be 2 teeth. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that on camera. So you see the 1 tooth there, the white plastic piece, and there's a white piece there. This one only has the 1. So what I'm going to do, and this is actually a video I've wanted to do for a while, is actually do a starter rope repair, because I just haven't had the opportunity yet. So let me, so what we're going to do, because actually the thing is this machine could very well be very good as it sits, even with, man, even with the starter rope that's broke, you know, or even with the starter situation. But what we're going to do is we're going to swap this over into this other house. A previous video of mine, actually I think it was the Franken mower video, that was on the on that mower, but actually the starter rope broke while I was trying to start it, and that actually kind of made me upset. So this one here, I got to get, actually, I mean, let me see how much rope is actually in here. I might be able to just change over onto that handle. Let me get those diagonal cutters again, which are right here. Although, if this is really that broke, I don't know if I want to mess with it. Let me pause the video and find my little torch. And I'll be, oh, actually, it's right here in front of me. What we do is we take a little bit of fire and just singe the end real quick, and that helps it go through the hole a little bit easier. Believe me, if you try to singe anything else to stick it through a hole, you're going to have a bad time. So how much rope is on here? Yeah, that's not enough rope. So what we're going to do is the same thing we just did on that one. We're going to snip this off here. And I'm going to change camera positions because I want to make this a little bit better. So, bear with me just 1 second. Alright, I'm going to do this on the toolbox just so I can give you a better idea of what's going on. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to wind this spring until it no longer turns. I'm just holding the inside of it, and we're pretty much to where it's not turning anymore. So then what we need to do is inside of here is you see where the hole where it comes in, and then there's also the hole where it goes through. Now on these ones, I like to just take a pair of vice grips. There's no need to really wrench down hard. All you're doing is keeping the spring from turning. Okay? Now there's other ones where you have like the coolant fins on the top. You can just stick a screwdriver through there. Sometimes I'll use a zip tie. This is going to be a little bit harder because this is an older rope that's very soft. So to get it to go where I want it to is going to be a bit more difficult. A brand new rope is definitely easier, but I don't have any brand new rope. The other thing we can do at this point, and if I keep having a hard time doing this, I'm probably going to do that. What I'm thinking is where I singed off the end of the rope, it's not going through the hole because it might be a little too big. So I just cut a little bit off of it. This is a very fiddly thing to do. I have it lined up. I can feel it hitting the hole, but it's just not going through. So I have to take this where I can see a little bit better. Alright, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to go backwards. We're going to go from this side out, and then we'll just retie at the handle as well. You know what? I think the starter rope's actually too thick. Let me grab a different set of covers. I think this might actually be too large for that, so I don't know if I can change over this mechanism over into this, into the other one. Okay, because I am perfectly lined up. I can, oh, here we go. Here we go. So I just had to look through the hole and watch what it was doing. See, I'm not the greatest knot tire, but it don't take much. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead. Yeah, that's what was happening, was this little head here was just not going through. So then we take that, and we take our trusty torch. The reason you're doing this with the torch is just to kind of melt everything together, so you're not just solely relying on the knot. And now I'm going to release the vice grip, and just like that, it rewound itself. So now we have a perfectly functioning tin. So we're going to go back to the mower and see if we can get this bad boy going. So basically what you just saw was what I call a no parts repair. So I had this tin. If you did not, these tins are very cheap online. You can find like free lawnmowers that have them. You know, these engines are so prolific. Is prolific the word I'm looking for? They're literally everywhere. This particular engine is literally everywhere. So you can find parts for these very cheaply and very efficiently. I just happen to have one because, like I said, that one broke, so I just, rather than dealing with it that day, I just decided, hey, you know what, I'm just going to take this off another engine that I had. So now, this one's even branded Briggs and Stratton. The other one just didn't have a name on it. And you can also rebuild them. You can get those internal parts cheap. So what I have not tested, this has a full tank of gas. And pull this air cleaner off. I just want to see what things look like under here. I just want to see what things look like under this air cleaner. Yeah, I can already feel underneath it. Don't feel pretty. So that is a nasty looking air filter. The primer works just fine. So let me move things off of here. I have a feeling this carburetor probably needs some help. This has a what's the word I'm looking for? That gas does not smell great, by the way. But it has an Autolite spark plug in there, which I'm not a huge fan of in these. I might try sticking the, I think I should have a good J19 sitting somewhere. And it's a very wet spark plug. Try this Autolite J19. This one I happen to have sitting right here. Somewhere, or actually at home, I actually just got the delivery notification. I have a bunch of stuff like these filters and plugs. But I have a feeling what we're going to end up doing is or we have a perfectly good running mower. So this really didn't give me a whole lot of opportunity to do much. So I am going to stick a brand new J19 in there. I am going to do an oil change because that's a necessity to me. I can't let a mower out of here without changing the oil. And then we're going to sharpen the blade. So for 20 bucks, plus a like $2 filter, a $4 spark plug, a $1.99 thing of oil, I could probably get $100 for this as it sits. Because it's got the bagger, so. But I do want to show you just how nasty this thing does look underneath. I don't know if I have another clean filter here, but I know that they just showed up at my house. Actually, I do have a brand new filter. So the carburetor is good enough to work, and this is an original Briggs and Stratton filter. I'm going to come behind you. I installed an air hose reel today. that's that clicking noise you hear. No. I just lost my power. Give me 1 second. I don't want to lose my fans. Either you guys or the ones keeping me alive in here. So I will turn the camera on this side. I want to show you a couple of things. So I did cover the carburetor while I was doing that. So yeah, it just goes to show you. I mean, you might see something that it's like, oh, it's got a problem with the starter rope. Is it really that big of a deal? Not really. So I'm going to go ahead, turn you guys around in a minute. Once I get everything situated, I'll be right back. Now, one thing I want to show you is, one of the things you can run into is people really don't clean their machines when they're done with them. Now, if I were smart, I would disconnect the spark plug. Even though it can't really start anyway because the bail is not pulled. And really, there's no other option than this and a power washer to clean this nasty crap off of here. And you know, this grass gets wet, gets moldy. The oil, by the way, I got the oil draining right now. That's like, it looked like it was way over full. So where this didn't cost me in parts, it's costing me in time by cleaning it up. Excuse me. And but overall, I mean, honestly, I would like to change this blade. But yeah, let me show you just from a couple minutes of scraping all that on my table. So I'm going to see if I can save this blade. It looks pretty bad, but I might be able to save it. Well, taking some sips of my tea. I should really be taking sips of my water. So I'm going to go over and sharpen the blade now. I'm going to take that off. I think you've seen me do this before. I think this is a 9/16 on these. Or a 14 millimeter, that's what since I have the... Okay, this one's not a 14 millimeter. How about 15? No. 16? 16 it is. And, sorry about me putting myself in the way here. So what I want to do, and while I'm sharpening this, I will hit this with a little matte fluid film. They say it's made of like sheep something, or at least some people do. What that'll do is this will keep it from rusting to the mandrel there. So let me go sharpen this blade. I'll be right back. So after I put it back together, I was not particularly happy with how it ran. And I'm sitting there, I had already been thinking to myself, can I even be comfortable selling a mower that I did not properly service the carburetor on? And the answer inevitably was no. So we're about to pull the carburetor off. So there's 10 millimeter on the front and 13 millimeter back here, which I think most people who watch my videos by now know how one of these ones come apart. Now you can also use a 1/2 inch and a 3/8. They are pretty much, as far as these engines are concerned, interchangeable. Not necessarily all. So if you're going to be working on one of these, make sure you have both a 1/2 inch and a 13 millimeter, because it's going to be one or the other. This gas tank is nearly full, which I'm going to dump real quick. And but yeah, I was just like, when I started it up, I'm like, I really don't like, it started like surging and everything. I think it just had a lot of dirt in it, because this is a very filthy engine right now, and I need a rag. It's pretty wet gas right now. But anyway, which I also don't, for all I know, that could also be this auto light spark plug. Sorry about the air compressor, and I probably should edit that out or do something. But yeah, so as we've already seen 100 times before on this channel, there's 5 screws that hold these on, and so there's really not a whole lot to go wrong on these. And what I'm going to do is I think over here, yep, I got one. I have the new gasket kit. And that's a very good thing to do. I mean, they're only like $2 for my parts guy. You can actually get online and go get like a 10-pack for like, where they end up being like 50 cents a piece. I, however, have not done that yet, because I don't usually replace these unless they're bad. But a lot of times these just go bad. So I want to take a look at how this one comes off. So that side. So I got the new gaskets lined up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shot of carburetor cleaner. and probably some air in a minute. I do like having the hose reel now. Makes life a lot easier. I just need to put a hook to hang it on this side. Let's take some compressed air. There literally is not much that can go wrong on these. I've shown that time and time again. And that's why Briggs and Stratton used this design for like 7 years, all the way up till basically the EPA said, yo, you gotta come up with a more fuel efficient design. And there's still a little bit of bad gas in here. So I don't know how much of this is the gas causing the problem. I don't know how much of it is like the carburetor just needed touched up on. But I feel a lot more comfortable having done this, since my name goes out there when I sell these. You know what I mean? And in this business, if you don't have your name, you don't have anything. Alright, so I'm off camera. I'm just lining these up. It's just easier to do it at my level. Now I am going to throw a couple screws in. And I'm going to have to either pause the video or just leave it rolling and then just edit it out when I walk out and get the gas can out of the truck. Somebody actually did a video on this, doing this exact job, replacing these gaskets, and they took the tin off, the upper tin, and he said you have to do that to get the cover off. I felt like saying something in the video, but I'm just like, you know what, it's not really worth it. Because yes, I do lawnmower repair, but I also watch a lot of lawnmower repair videos because I'm not afraid of burning. You don't want to wrench down on these too bad, but you definitely want to make sure they're tight. And I am just like literally dripping sweat right now. It's gonna be like 92 degrees today. This is why I got a pretty early start doing this, or at least tried to. But so yeah, this thing had a full tank of gas, and it doesn't smell horrible, but I feel better selling a piece of equipment with gas that I put in it. Like I said, my name goes on these. Eric Small Engines. They get when they buy a piece of equipment from me, they get a business card. And I'd rather them be glad to give, be happy to give my card to somebody else. I mean, I get a lot of calls and emails going, hey, my friend bought a lawnmower from you. Do you have one? And I'm sure Madam Roy gets a lot of that. Like, hey, my friend bought a computer from you. Do you have any more? I need a computer. That one I'm not afraid it's going to break. Let me get all these tools out of here. I'm going to put the air cleaner back on because there's still a lot of dust underneath here, even though I pulled it out with the air hose. There's still a lot of dust from that cleaning I showed you. Excuse me. I'll be right. Clap. Yeah, so when I get gas, I usually do 89 octane, the mid-grade, and I also put the Staville brand marine fuel stabilizer in there. The one that says ethanol treatment. The reason for that is, at least here in the United States and Canada, our gas has 10% ethanol, which can cause issues with a lot of engines that aren't designed for it. Now that one I am happy of how it runs, and yeah, there's still a lot of dust here. So, anyway, so thanks for watching, have a blessed day, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.